Welcome back. We are joined by Vicki Lewis back on Broadway. I didn't expect you to come back to Broadway, I have to tell you.
You had just written me off.
I had written you off. I thought she just went to California and...
I know. It's funny, I didn't know that I would come back, but I always wanted to. And then in the last few years, it was actually my husband who, and I teach at USC. I've been teaching there for 9 years.
Yep.
And I do my television thing there. But I was so missing it. And he looked at me one day and he said, "You got to get out of here."
Get out.
Yeah, you got to go. And yeah, he said, "You're going to be miserable if you don't." And so my plan was to come here this May and to just get an apartment and tool around and, see old friends and see shows and see if it sort of lit me back up.
Right.
And then this audition fell out of the sky.
Anastasia.
Anastasia. And then here I am. The rest is history.
And
it was a perfect job.
Fantastic role.
It's a fantastic
Countess
role.
Lily.
Yep.
I think she should be called Countess Vicki while you're there. But
Well, I am
Countess
doing
Lily.
that on the matinee days. I sometimes change her name to Countess Vicki.
Caroline O'Connor played the role, and you stepped in for her.
She was marvelous in the role. I got to
really-
watch her do it like 4 times while I was studying.
Are
Yeah.
what do you love about this character? I mean, she's insane. I love it.
Well, she's insane. Like there's 2 lives that she leads, which opens you up to many different emotions and behaviors. So she's got the life with the dowager, and then she's got the life where she lets loose so she can manage the life with the dowager, who she loves and cares for, but it's confining and a little bit restricted emotionally. So she goes to this Neva club and lets loose, and then I'm like, I turn into Lily St. Regis's crazy aunt. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's fantastic. There's all these colors. Then there's the tawdry romance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, how's John Bolton?
He's fantastic.
You guys hitting it off. Did you know John before this?
John was in the chorus of Damn Yankees.
See, I knew there was going to be a connection with you and John.
Yes. He came in the last 5 months that I was there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I left when Victor left.
Yes.
But John was
Victor
there for a little. Victor
also
Garber.
back on Broadway.
Yes, right across
Look
the
at
street.
this.
We can
It's
wave to
crazy.
each other. I know.
So John was in the ensemble.
Yes.
He was one of the ball players.
Yes,
and,
he was. He took over for Michael Winther. I don't know if you remember. You probably know
of
every
course.
name I'm going to say because you're good that way.
Yeah. I was around in the 90s.
Yeah, no, weren't we all? Those were the good years. Yes.
So, and actually I have to tell you about Damn Yankees. Your Gloria Thorpe is the stuff of legend in my household.
That's very sweet.
Whenever I think of the song Shoeless Joe, I hear your voice like belting the crap out of that. It was amazing.
It was a kind of an iconic moment, which at the time I wasn't aware of. I knew it was liked and it was a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
But subsequently, I run into people often who are like, "I had that on repeat my entire college life," or "I had." No, that's a testament to everybody in the number, and Rob Marshall's choreography was spectacular.
When he was just Rob Marshall, choreographer.
He was just Rob Marshall.
Now look at him.
Well, I got my equity card with Rob Marshall.
Really?
Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera. I would carry the train of Dixie Carter's Dress in Mame. That was my job, and then she would spit into a cup before she would go on, like, not like rude or anything, and then my job was to take the cup back and rinse it out. I was thrilled to do it.
You would take the cup and rinse it out.
That was my little job.
It was an honor.
Yes, it was an honor to do it. Crazy what we do.
But you did leave, you're a real theater girl.
Yes.
I mean, like you you moved to New York young. Where did you grow up?
I moved from Ohio.
Okay.
And I went to Pittsburgh to get my equity card in the second summer I was in college. I went to CCM with Liz Callaway was my roommate.
Wow.
Jason
Really?
Graw.
Roommate?
Faith Prince was a roommate.
What?
Yeah, we were all it was a fabulous class.
I know all your roommates.
Yeah, all my roommates. I still owe Liz Callaway pizza money, by the way, and she never lets me forget it.
Who was a better roommate, Faith Prince or Liz Callaway? Be honest.
Oh, I like them both, but Faith is a nester. So you would get taken care of with her, like it's time for toast.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I'm doing laundry today.
Right.
So you were a little more mothered with Faith.
I feel like you and Faith made up for the same parts too.
We did a little bit. We were. There was like a time where it was like, oh, I hate that this is happening. But also, I so looked up to her, so I was sort of, I wanted to be her for a little while. I think. I think everybody did. I think everybody did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, no, I moved here. I got my equity card. So I actually came here with $35 in the pocket.
Real story.
Real story. And then I'll tell you an interesting little tidbit. So I didn't have an agent.
Okay.
And my friend Mitchell Lemsky, who was stage managing a show called Do Black Patent Leather Shoes Really Reflect Up?
Yes.
Was
Big
the
hit.
first Broadway show I ever did. Big hit in Philadelphia.
Okay, and then it came
We
to
got
Broadway.
here, and I believe the review started something like, "How dare they flaw a shared memory?" No, like
Wow.
it didn't go over well here.
That was your fault.
It was I shouldered it. I did. It was our fault. Oh my Lanta. And so I auditioned. I was like, he's like, "Well, you're really right for this role of Virginia Lear." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. What am I going to do?" So I went over to NOLA Studios, and I sat there for about 4 hours till they called a girl's name who didn't answer, and I raised my hand. And I went in, and I got that job. That's crazy. The stuff of crazies.
You did a lot of shows off Broadway, and then a lot of short
yeah.
runs on Broadway.
Very short. Just as hard to get into the short running ones.
Yeah. Oh, but then you started getting TV stuff, and you were like, "I'm out."
Yeah, I had done a movie in LA, and
Yep.
then
I know about that
Dan Yankees
movie.
happened.
That was another not hit. I'll
That
Do
was
Anything?
another not hit. That was a
Right.
movie musical called I'll Do Anything.
Which you could probably do a whole hour-long interview about.
I probably could.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was dysfunctional. But then I got a series, so I left the Broadway to go do news radio.
Yeah, news radio.
Yeah.
That was a big hit.
Yeah.
I remember that. You were hilarious.
That was an exciting time for me. Like, it was
Yeah.
all sort of doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you did Chicago.
Then I came back and I did Chicago 2 different times in New
Yeah,
York.
Velma.
Yes.
Right, Velma. Okay.
Once with
Velma
Charlotte
Kelly.
Tembois.
You did it twice,
and
2
once
runs in
with
that.
An Visitor. Mm-hmm.
And you've actually been doing musical theater out in LA, but I haven't
Yeah.
seen it because I don't
Because you're
live
here.
there. So
Why
I'm
would
glad
you-
you're
yeah.
back so I can see
No,
it.
listen, it's a dream come true to be back. I missed it terribly,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm so excited that this is working out and that I get to be here playing.
And you're also stepped into a show that has an automatic fan base. These Fanastasias. How are
That's
these
a
girls?
word I learned. Yes, the Fanastasias.
Right.
Well, it's fun.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like a rock concert. I'm sure you remember in the audience, but like every day you're like, how can they scream that loudly when we come out? They're very enthusiastic. The show is beautiful. It's a beautiful story. The audience connects to it, whether it be because of the Romanov history, and there's Russians. I mean, we have a lot of Russian people coming to sort of see the Romanov story, and then you
It's
have
gathering a lot of Russians.
Yes.
I didn't know this is where the Russians
yes,
are going
this
on
is
Broadway.
where
Great.
the
Okay.
Russians are.
Okay.
They're with us.
Okay, good to know.
And then you get your family and your people that loved that film, and they're very connected to those characters, loyal to them, and they go bananas.
And it's really turned into like a big Broadway hit. I mean, you know, it really is like a big Broadway musical.
Yeah.
And it hits all the notes. And
It
you're the
does.
funny one.
I am
And
the
John
funny
too,
one.
but you get a lot of great moments.
Yes. I sit in my dressing room in Act 1 and eat candy and do selfies and
What's
try
your
to
go-to?
learn to be better at social media.
What's the go-to candy?
Well, the go-to candy right now is Blow Pops, which is very,
Blow Pops, okay.
yes.
Classic.
It's a classic, yeah. And then I'm decorating the dressing room.
Oh,
This
okay.
all happens during Act 1. Because I sit there in an hour and a half. I have one moment, as you know, at the top of
Right.
Act 1 for like 15 seconds.
Right.
And then I terrorize everyone. I'm like, what are you guys doing? You want to hang out? They're like, we're doing a show, Vicki. We're trying to do a show. And then Act 2 happens, and I come on, and it's like 0 to 60 out of a cannon.
Right.
And it never stops, and it's hilarity, and it's the greatest job ever. Like,
It's a good gig.
Yeah, it's a great gig.
I'm so excited you're doing it.
I'm so excited to be doing it.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Yeah.
joining us. I could
it's
talk to
my
you forever,
pleasure.
but this is a limited interview, so
Oh, it is?
maybe
That's
we'll
awkward.
do a longer one at
It's
some
not like
point.
a 2-part like the Harry Potter show or like Angels in a Minute. We don't come back later and do like the second half.
Part 2 of this
of
interview.
this interview.
Yeah, totally. 2,
Yeah,
3,
I mean, you
4,
could
we'll
make
just
an
keep going.
exception for me,
All
I
right.
feel like, because I was gone so long. Okay.
Thank you so much,
You're
Vicki.
welcome.
So
It's
good
so
to see
great
you.
to see you.
Everyone, go see Anastasia. It's at the Broadhurst Theater. It's a big hit, and you'll see why when you go see it. Thank you so much for being
Oh
here.
my God.